So it tells me to use polynomial division to simplify each of the following quotients. So I'm just going to take x plus 3, put it out here, and then I'm just going to write my polynomial. I recognize that it's in descending order. I recognize that I have every term, right? If I'm missing any terms, you can do a placeholder or something like a 0x. That doesn't apply. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I can get x goes into the first one. So if you need to do a side problem, you can do like x to the 4th over x. And when you simplify that, you get what class? X cubed. So that gives you a hint of what I'm going to place up here at the first. Now I place it over here because it has a power of 3. That's just my preference. And now I'm going to multiply. X times x to the 3rd is x to the 4th. And x to the 3rd times 3 is going to be 3x to the 3rd. Now I'm going to subtract. Now this is probably the second biggest issue for students. So make sure to have your minus sign and then put those in parentheses. So I have 1 minus 1, which is 0, and then 3 minus 3 is also 0. Okay? Raise your hand if you got that so far. Okay. So which means I don't have to write anything, right? I'm not going to write 0x to the 4th and 0x to the 3rd. It just means you need now to bring down 2 items. Does that make sense? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say x is going to go into my leading coefficient here, so do a side problem there. So that's essentially negative 1 times x times x. Negative x. And this one is just x, so if you simplify that, you get what?
Negative x.
Negative x. So I have negative x times x, negative x squared, and that becomes negative 3x. I'm going to subtract. So I have negative 1 minus 1. So that becomes negative 1 and a positive 1, which is 0. Now, in looking at student work from yesterday, I recognize that a lot of students are, some of you write those plus signs, you know what I'm talking about? You change the minus signs to a pluses, and then you're kind of lost, or we're kind of lost. So I recommend just trying to do it mentally. If you need to, you can, but it's hard for me to grade your work. Does that make sense? To give you partial credit? Remember, you make my life easier. That should make your grade easier. So negative 1 minus a negative 3 is what? 2x, and then I just bring this one down. X goes into 2x how many times?
1.
2x, positive 6. Because they're identical there, it's just going to equal what number? 0. So in this problem, there was no remainder. And this is my answer. X to the 3rd minus x plus 2. Raise your hand if you got that.